Alright, what up YouTube? Bloons Tower Defense 6 is set to be released on June 14th, 2018. And once you look at the game, you might be wondering, why are there so many monkeys? Why are there so many balloons? Why are the monkeys throwing darts at the balloons? It's the 6th installment of a series. It can be pretty confusing, but hopefully we can break it down in this video, just what all is going on and why it is like that in mobile history of Bloons Tower Defense 6. I'm Abram SF. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click that notification bell for more fun mobile game videos just like this one. And we're going to be starting off at 2006. It's August 5th. Stephen and Chris Harris register ninjakiwi.com through GoDaddy. It's originally a game hosting site that has a lot of different types of Flash games on it and has their own types of games, but soon they built onto bigger and better things. While Stephen Harris is trying to think of new types of games, he asks his wife if she has any ideas, and she suggests, and I quote, "Popping balloons with a dart at fairs and stuff is fun." And with that one little suggestion, the whole Bloons franchise was born. First released in April 2007, the original Bloons title burst onto the scene, and to call it a smash hit is an understatement. It was huge. Stephen and Chris have both said that it was a much larger game than they could have ever expected in their wildest dreams. Everyone loved this game, and everyone I knew was playing this game. And I mean, really, how could it be anything else? Popping balloons with darts is a lot of fun, and the fact that you're a monkey doing it and it's got great gameplay mechanics makes it even better. And of course, right after that, many more player packs were born with a lot more levels, and even Bloons World was released where people could make their own levels. Bloons, the original title, is an amazing game in its own right, but that gave rise to something even bigger and better, and that, of course, is the Bloons Tower Defense series. First released in mid-2007, Bloons Tower Defense started off with the 5 main towers we've come to know and love, and that is the Dart Tower, or our Dart Monkey, the Tack Tower, the Ice Tower, the Bomb Tower, and the Super Monkey. And they were attacking a fairly few number of balloons that started off the game. There was, of course, the black balloons that were immune to the bombs and the white balloons that were immune to ice. And each of those released 2 yellow balloons when they were popped. And each yellow released a green when it was popped, and a green a blue, and a blue a red. And those were the only 6 balloons that you had in the original game. And every single tower had 2 upgrades, and you could choose either one or both, depending on what money you had. And that was the original Bloons Tower Defense game. Later in that year, in 2007, they made an update with Bloons Tower Defense 2 in late 2007. Different game difficulties were added. You could do easy, medium, or hard, and the harder difficulties, they cost more money in order to upgrade the towers and buy the towers, just like in the game modes today. They added a couple towers to this game. They have now the Dart Monkey instead of the Dart Tower. Now it's called the Tack Shooter instead of the Tack Tower, the Ice Ball instead of the Ice Tower, and the Cannon instead of the Bomb Tower, and the Boomerang Thrower. Super Monkeys stayed the same name, but they added some cool road items to the game. They have the road spikes that pop balloons that go over them, and they also have the monkey glue that slows down 20 balloons as it goes over there. And with that, they also added a couple new balloons to the series. In addition to the other balloons mentioned before for Tower Defense 1, they have lead balloons that have trouble with darts. They can't be popped by darts. They need some sort of explosion in order to pop them. And also the new top balloon in the series, the Rainbow Balloon, which included 2 black and 2 white balloons after it was popped. You still had 2 upgrades per tower, and you could choose which upgrades you wanted to do for each tower. And you could do both, but there were no upgrade trees in the game yet. But that all changed on September 5th, 2008, when Bloons Tower Defense 3 first came out on the computer, and then in 2009, on October 3rd, came out for iPhone as Bloons Tower Defense. There were different game modes, different tracks, different difficulties, a lot more added to the game. Each one of the towers you placed, not only did it have 2 different upgrades, but each one of those had tiers where you could upgrade one tier, and then after you upgraded faster shooting or extra range, you could upgrade the next tier and have even better upgrades added to the game. They had to change it to Bloons TD instead of Bloons Tower Defense because the trademark name of Tower Defense was taken at the time. This is why we see Bloons TD instead of Bloons Tower Defense. They added a couple more towers to the game. They added the Spike-a-Pult and the Monkey Beacon. And this was the first support tower that they ever added to the game, was the Monkey Beacon. And in order to make your towers fire a little bit faster, maybe they could see some of the other balloons, like they could attack balloons they wouldn't normally be able to attack with the Monkey Beacon. They added 2 new balloons in this game. They added the ceramic balloons that are above the rainbow balloons, and each one of those carried 2 rainbows. And they also added in their first Moab, the first Zeppelin class balloons, the massive ornery air blimp, and that one contained 4 of the ceramic balloons. And I thought that was really great when I first played the game. This was the first Bloons Tower Defense game that I really enjoyed playing for a long amount of time. They added a new road item to the game. They added the pineapple that explodes and destroys balloons around it, including the lead balloons from before, which is really good. They sort of had like a mystery tower in there, and that confused me for a long time, the question mark, but that was just there as a placeholder. It never became anything. And this was the first amazing Bloons Tower Defense game. I mean, the other ones had been played for a long time, but this was the first main Bloons Tower Defense game. Moving on to Bloons Tower Defense 4, it was first released on October 26, 2009 as an online freemium game, and then later on December 7th, 2010 for iPhone. And unlike the first time when the iPhone game was just labeled Bloons Tower Defense and not Bloons Tower Defense 3, this one on the iPhone was moved to Bloons Tower Defense 4. Which was kind of confusing to me when the game first came out, because I thought, how come they're going from the Bloons Tower Defense on iPhone to Bloons Tower Defense 4 on iPhone? But that's what they did in order to just jump right into the next level of the game. The fast forward feature was added to get through those slow levels at the beginning of the game, and they also added the save game feature finally to the game, which really helped out for that late game, just to see how far you could get. You could save it and come back to it later, and you wouldn't have to worry about having to go do something, run errands or do schoolwork or anything. Over 1 million copies of Bloons Tower Defense 4 were sold in the App Store when it was finally released on December 7th, 2010. And they added a ton of different towers to this game. They added the Glue Gunner, the Monkey Ace, the Mortar Tower, the Monkey Apprentice. The Banana Farm was finally added to add some new meta to the game, where you could choose whether or not you want to spend cash in the early game in order to get more cash later on and hopefully get to the farther late game in the game. This included the Monkey Buccaneer, the pirate ship that you could place on water. It was a great one, but you could only place it on a certain number of places on the maps, and some maps didn't have that option at all. And they later released an expansion with the Dartling Gun and the Spike Factory, which were some great new additions, along with the Beekeeper that was included after they released Tower Defense 5, that could be placed down and latched on to a balloon and pop through all its layers. Some of the balloons that were added to the game was now the pink balloon was the fastest basic balloon, and that one contained a yellow. So the yellow is no longer the top of the food chain now. And now the black and white balloons, instead of spawning 2 yellow balloons, they spawn 2 pink balloons. The camo balloon was added. That adds a whole new level of difficulty. You have to have a tower out there that can look at the camo balloons and spot the camo balloons. They added the zebra balloon to the game, and this one contained 1 white and 1 black balloon. It was immune to both the explosions and the freezing. And now, instead of the rainbow balloon containing 2 white and 2 black, now the rainbows contain 2 zebra balloons instead. So pretty much the same, but just a little bit different. And the new thing that they added to this game was the Zeppelin class, and that was the BFB, the Brutal Floating Behemoth. and that one contained 4 of the Moabs from the previous game. So they just keep building on bigger and bigger balloons. Every new installment of the game, they added more upgrades. So now you could have 4th tier upgrades. This includes like the Moab Mauler that you can see on the screen right now, and the Ring of Fire that they have. And that added some new difficulty to the game. Unfortunately, they didn't have different tier trees. Once you upgraded a tower, you could upgrade it max and have it be the best tower in the game. Another thing about this is that there were no new road items added, but they did have the pineapple, the monkey glue, and the road spikes still in the game, with that one of the new expansions, the Spike Factory, throwing out spikes throughout the game. And they could keep adding to the road without actually having to buy spikes. But just as Ninja Kiwi always does, they were not done. Bloons Tower Defense 5 is still the number 4 top paid app of all time in the App Store. And it was first released on the computer on December 13th, 2011. And then later on November 15th, 2012, and this was the first installment of the Bloons Tower Defense series that was released on Steam, but that wasn't released until November 19th, 2014, and this game is massive and got a lot of updates. Some of the towers that were added to the game was the Sniper Monkey, the Ninja Monkey, the Monkey Sub for more water monkeys, because before it was just the Buccaneer. The Monkey Village now replaces the Monkey Beacon. It does some of the same things as the Monkey Beacon, but it just makes more sense. It's a village. There's also the Heli Pilot when they added into the Deluxe, and the Balloon Chipper that they added into the Deluxe version. They added some new balloons to the game. There was now the Camo balloon. It wasn't just one balloon that was popped and then you're done. It was now becomes a type of balloon. The Camo type of balloon, you have to be able to see camo balloons in order to pop. There's of course the Camo Red, the Camo Blue, the Camo Pink, the Camo, just all the colors for camo. And they also updated to a new different type of balloon in the game called the Regrow type that looks a lot like hearts for all the different colors. And what's different about this one is whatever the balloon starts at, let's say it starts as a blue balloon, if you pop it down to the red balloon, it'll regrow back to the blue balloon. Or if you have a green one, that one will get popped back to blue and then a red regrow. But if you don't pop the red one, then it'll grow back to a blue and then a green, and it can go all the way up to the ceramics. And that's how that works for the regrow type. And always making bigger and better Zeppelin classes in the game in order to make that late stage even better. They added in the ZOMG, the Zeppelin of Mighty Gargantuanness. And this one, when popped, contained 4 of the brutal floating behemoths and then 4 of the Moabs. So now you had a balloon that was really hard to pop that in the end created 4 of the really hard one from the previous game and 16 of the hardest one from Bloons Tower Defense 3. Now, there were new tiers in this game. There's actually different upgrade paths. You can do 4 upgrades for each of the 2 paths for every one of the towers in the game. But once you got to the 3rd tier for one of the paths, it locks you out of the other 3rd tier for the other path. So you kind of have to choose which type of monkey you want to have the best at something, because there's 2 different choices you could have for every single tower in the game. They removed the monkey glue from the game as a road item because people really didn't use it. It actually really didn't help that much at all in the previous games. It just slowed down balloons. And once they added the glue gunner into the game to throw glue, just tons and tons of glue out, there was no more need for the monkey glue road item in the game. Some of the new features that they added to this game is that the tracks now had some moving parts, and there are also tunnels added to the tracks where the balloons could go through and you couldn't really get to them until they came out the other side of the tunnel. They added in special agents to this game as well, things like the portable lake or the pontoon. You can see on the screen right now. And those were places where if you didn't have water, you could suddenly have water. Or if you didn't have land, you could put out land and then you have the monkeys on there. And let's just take a look at the full upgrade path of all the balloons in the game in Bloons Tower Defense 5. So you can get a look at just how complicated it can get in the game. finally, on December 13th, 2012, we have Bloons Tower Defense Battle released online. And then later it was released on the iPhone in the App Store on November 5th, 2013. And then later on April 20th, 2016, of course, it was released for Steam, because now everybody wants to play their games on Steam. It's a great place to go and play games. There's only one main tower that was added to the game. Everything else stayed the same. It was pretty much just Bloons Tower Defense 5, but Battle Edition, where you could go up against a lot of different people in the game, see how far you could get, see if you get farther than your opponent. And they added the Cobra, the Covert Ops Battle Response Agent, and that was a new tower just for the iPhone initially, but they added it to the other games too. And that one's a pretty good tower as well. But finally, we are getting to the new game that's coming out, Bloons Tower Defense 6. Brand new things in this game is that they're bringing out a 3D world with 3D towers. They're putting in obstacles to kind of block the line of sight, so you have to worry about line of sight for your monkeys. They can't just throw it over anything. They're adding in the Druid, the Alchemist. Those are some new towers that are being added to the game. And this game is adding something we've never seen before for the towers, and that are the hero class towers. We have 4 different heroes starting off in the game on release date, and that's Quincy, Gwendolyn, Striker Jones, and Oben Greenfoot. And each of these ones are different because they can all upgrade themselves. You don't have to pay to upgrade each of these towers. You can only have one of your heroes on the map at a time, but every time they pop a balloon, they gain experience points in order to upgrade themselves. And that is one thing that I'm really interested in when I'm playing the new game when it comes out. Some balloons that they've added to the game are the purple balloons, and they're immune to energy, fire, and plasma. They're kind of like the white and black balloons together, but they're a little bit better. And each of those also contains 2 pink balloons, just like the black and the white balloons. Another new type of balloon they have in the game is the fortified balloons, and that's in addition to the Zeppelin class balloons. It makes them stronger. Another one we're seeing come into this game in the tower defense genre is the DDT, the Dark Dirigible Titan. And this one has the properties of the lead, the black, the pink, and the camo on a Zeppelin class balloon. And when you pop it, it contains 6 camo regrow balloons, camo regrow ceramic balloons. So you have to have towers that can see camo, can pop really quickly to prevent that regrowth, and they're ceramic, which is one of the higher tiers of balloons. And the last one, the biggest, baddest one of the game, appropriately titled BAD, B-A-D, the biggest airship of doom, has been added to this game. And once popped, it contains 2 ZOMGs and 3 DDTs to just add a crazy amount of difficulty in this game. It first comes out around stage 100, actually on stage 100. So you have to definitely be prepared for that Zeppelin class when it finally comes out. Some of the main things that are really awesome about this game is it's upping the ante from 2 upgrade paths to 3 upgrade paths in the game. And each one of those upgrade paths, not only does it have the tier 4, but it has tier 5 upgrades. That just... Before, that was about 8 different types of upgrades you could have for each tower. Now there's 15 different upgrades. You can choose 2 of those paths. Once you choose 2 of the paths to upgrade, you get locked out of the 3rd path. And just like before, once you get to the 3rd or 4th tier of one of the paths, you're locked out of 3rd and 4th tier for the other path that you've chosen. There's just a ton of different options in this game. It's a massive game. I can't wait for it to come out. I'm Abram SF. This is Mobile History of Bloons Tower Defense. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.